Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Codex podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sonny Kruger. Joining me today is my co-host, Jamie Wojcik. And today, Tim Morris is not here because he turned into a ghoul. And he'll be
Is
a
that
ghoul until me and Jamie save him.
is that your Ghoul voice?
Oh, it's the voice of somebody who knows of ghouls.
I mean, there's a movie we just found out of, Night of the Ghouls, so you can watch that and
Hey,
figure it out.
yeah, that could be an old Ed Wood movie. But yes, today we will be reviewing Night of the Ghoul. But we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of comic book news, a lot of hot news. We will be having the F list come back, and we'll be having a certain ace join that F list. Me and Jamie will go at it again in Do You Know? But first, I have a bone to pick with everyone.
Ooh.
And that is that last week was episode 75 of the Code X podcast. And everybody was gone. We wanted all these questions, and only Sal came through with one question. So everybody else, I should line you all up, and I should spank you all for not asking me and Tim questions. But onto that.
Hang on. I'm trying to process the last part of this statement is you're just gonna spank everybody.
You know, let me reach right here. I even got a belt, maybe with the belt.
Sonny, are you wearing pants at the moment?
I am.
Oh, okay, because there's no
Yes.
belt, so I was kind of concerned. I'm like, he's just half in it right now.
So today's joggers day. I mean, we only see the top of me for the podcast, yeah. So so no jeans yet. Maybe tomorrow, but yeah. But that belt
It's
is there.
Joggers Day.
Yeah. And one thing, Tim, I know you became a ghoul, but in one case, I felt you dropped the ball a little when we were talking about how diverse the Codex station is. So I was like, okay, this one, I'll pick it up and talk a little bit how diverse we all are here at the Codex station. Now, if you know me, I'm somebody who works in film. That's one thing I do. I'm a writer, actor, director. And now move on. Tim, in case people didn't know, Tim loves Dungeons and Dragons, but he also even created a game called Dragons and Warriors. Jamie, the guy to my right, left, who knows how it is on the camera.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know, Jamie actually spent quite a bit of time training mixed martial arts. Another thing about Kevin is that his eyes actually sometimes fall out. So that's why sometimes Kevin misses and he has to put them back in, but he eventually gets them back. And I don't know anybody else whose eyes fall out as much as Kevin.
Yeah,
Don't
he is
forget,
missing this week due to eye falling out syndrome.
there we go. Kevin, we hope you find your eyes and that you're able to come back. Then don't forget there's also Kristen, and people who don't know, Kristen has actually done burlesque before. She also does she has also done some special effects for some plays. Also, Dan is constantly drawing like every day. So in case anybody wanted to, if you want like a superhero drawn for you, reach out to our very own Dan Kelly, and he'll be glad to do it. Also, Wes is like a master negotiator. He was telling us how he basically, basically all of us, we pay for comics.
He
Yes,
negotiated his
he
way into
sometimes pays them.
Codex.
Yeah, he negotiated his way into Codex, and he basically was telling us how he basically a lot of times gets people to almost want to give him comic books. I don't know how he does it, but that's just part of how Wes is a master negotiator. And then we have Sal, who is like an executive at Marvel or something, because Sal, I don't know how he has all these slabs, all this money. He doesn't tell us what his job is.
No, the best part about Sale is like when he'll talk about past jobs. When I work for Warner Brothers, when I work for Disney, I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah, so Sal, that's my guess. He's got to be some kind of exec at Marvel, something like that. And then don't forget there is Keith, who does our website.
We don't
And
have to talk about him.
we could talk about one thing I'll tell is that Keith
Is a
has
master drinker.
he has this thing where he can find the worst alcoholic drinks. I don't ever drink, but he every time I'm there, he's trying to get people to try this, and I always lead
Everyone's
them
face
to
turns to like, yeah. He had me have a sour beer, and I told him I hate sour beers, and he's like, "This is delicious." I literally stopped drinking the rest of the night. I was like, I can't get the taste out of my mouth. Like,
see. It's a talent of his. He can find the worst tasting beers.
and find the best in it for some reason. He's like, "Can you just taste the hops and barley in this IPA?" I'm like, "Dude, I taste like ashtray. Can we move on?"
So that is something he knows how to do. And then there is Tone. Tone, who is no longer with Codex, but was around for a while. Now he is journeyed far, far away the sci-fi sage and swordsman. He's near or far, wherever he is, we wish him well. And then, even too, on our Discord, our old Discord, remember Big Keith, who was with Legion of Doom?
Mhm.
He, in case people don't know, if you know the 80s hair metal band, Enough's Enough, Big Keith knocked out the singer before.
Yes.
So we're very diverse here at the Codex Station.
Yes. You forgot one part. I got a bone to pick with you. Now,
With me.
I'm a video editor with a degree in all of this.
You do have that degree. Sometimes I forget. We forget to mention how we have degrees and things like that.
We're actually smart here at the Codex Station, ladies
Yes,
and
Jamie is a
gentlemen.
man. Jamie is a man with a degree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
surprisingly, with the headband too.
you're the
Uh,
headband. But yeah, every now and then, see, I do forget things. Like there was one more thing. Don't think I've forgotten. I was getting on everybody else. Don't think I don't forget when I make a mistake. Last week we got to a serious subject, and it was about mass shootings. And I was trying to give a nice little talk about it, but I thought that I left some things out, and I did want to say that if anybody's ever thought of something like committing any of those crimes, that right there you've already crossed the line, and I really suggest you try to reach out for some help, whether it be a professional, friends, family. But even if sometimes let's say you're not able to get that there is still so much beauty in the world, and there's still so much you can do even on your own. You can draw a crazy picture, you could listen to music, angry music, you write books. I know a certain guy who writes some pretty crazy books. You could watch TV, listen to some podcasts. Hey, I know quite a few good podcasts, like the Codex podcast, Comic Character of the Week, Codex
After
After
dark.
Dark. There's quite a bit we got going on. But like I said, there's just so many things you can do, painting, anything you want. But violence, it isn't the answer. So everybody stay safe out there. And, let's all try to live in peace and try to be happy and, enjoy life amongst each other. So,
Couldn't say it better myself.
so that's what I had to get off my chest. Sorry I didn't mention your degree, my friend, but now I remember.
Yeah, we're diverse. Jamie knows how to punch people in the face.
Yeah. But hey,
that's all he's been good for since we've known him.
sometimes I forget about the fact that you have a degree, but I always remember that you can punch. I remember holding pads for you one time, and you punched the pad off my hand.
You're like, huh?
Yeah, but good times, good times. At least you hit the pad and not me.
Mm.
But we have a lot of comic book news, and I will start us off with the rundown. But first, Jamie has the rundown on a certain something for all of you that can get us all some more energy, and that's with our sponsor.
Yes, guys, as always, our sponsor and partner is Dubby Energy. Guys, this is the best energy drink I've had ever in my life. I've completely taken out Monsters, Red Bulls, whatever you can think of on the market today, because this is probably my favorite energy drink. No jitters, no crash, no bad aftertaste. 100% vitamins and everything you need to get throughout the day. I literally just woke up 20 minutes ago and I'm already starting to feel it. So, guys, go check out Dubby Energy. That's Dubby.gg if you guys want to check them out. And you can save 10% on all of your orders by using the keyword code -X at checkout. That's CODE-X. Save yourself that 10%. Guys, you guys got to try this. It's amazing. But
New
with that,
flavors coming along all the
oh
time.
yeah, and they do have a new flavor out right now, Calio Melon. It's a mango orange flavor. It's almost like a creamsicle. So yes,
Nice.
definitely go check that out. But let's get a little bit of the business out of the way before we get into this today too, Sonny. Guys, if you haven't had the chance yet, you know what I'm about to say. Go check out the codexstation.com. Meet the team, get some merch. Let us know what you like, don't like. And all of our socials are listed down at the bottom, so you have no reason not to check us out and miss any of the content we're putting out for you, because we put out content throughout the week for you. We've had already 2 videos go up today as this is being recorded, and we have the whole week slated out. So definitely go check it out. And Sale. Oh, yeah, Sale. Dubby.
That'd for the win.
Yes. But yeah, let's get into the rundown, shall we?
I will get us going with the rundown. First, we found out that there was an X-Men comic, and there will be X-Men Days of Future Past Doomsday that is set to be 4 issues. It will come out July 12th, and it is set to be the prequel to the original Days of Future Past. And that will have writer Mark Guggenheim. The artist will be Manuel Garcia, and cover artist. The cover we were shown it has Wolverine in the cover. We see Kitty Pryde, Storm, the Sentinels in the background. The cover artist is Jeff Shaw. Now, there's also set to be another Magneto miniseries that's going to come out summer, I believe, around the summer, and that's going to be more on Magneto during his time when he was the leader of the New Mutants.
Mhm.
But there's more going on than just the X-Men in the Marvel universe, and we saw a teaser trailer for the movie The Marvels, and that is set to come out in November of this year. Speaking of teasers, we saw the teaser for the Penguin television series, and that is set to come out in 2024 on HBO. Now, we also heard about the Marvel Comics app is going to Marvel Unlimited. So anybody who has the Marvel Comics app, that on May 2nd, you will no longer be able to buy anything there, but everything you bought from there will move over to the Marvel Unlimited app, and that on June 2nd, that is it for your Marvel app will be deleted, it will shut down, but all of your stuff will go to the Marvel Unlimited app, and you won't have to pay for that. So if you want to pay for Marvel Unlimited, you can do that. But let's just say you say, hey, I don't have the money for Marvel Unlimited. But what happens to all my comics? They'll still be available for you to read on the Marvel Unlimited app once you're able to transfer your stuff over with your accounts. So your comics should still be safe. Speaking of things getting deleted, who knows what will happen with the Flash? If he'll be deleting the world, who knows? But we did see another Flash trailer, and one thing that got us all excited was we saw Michael Keaton saying, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." That got us all pretty much going. And yeah, so the Flash is set to come out June 16th. That was quite a big trailer. A lot of people are talking about it. And then another thing that has some people talking, and that is James Gunn and Peter Safran, who seem to keep us going on. They keep giving little hints and little news, but they're set to detail their 10-year plan at CinemaCon, and CinemaCon is going on now. It started April 24th, and it will go to the 27th. So they're set to release, like I said, their 10-year plan. So let's see how that goes. But we should have more on that next week. And also, there's set to be a Blue Beetle ongoing series, which will follow the Blue Beetle Graduation Day 6-issue miniseries. And that will keep their creators with Josh Trujillo, Adrian Gutierrez, Will Quintana, and Lucas Catani. And Spider-Man writer Nick Lowe was told not to attend cons because of the spoiler of what's going to happen in Amazing Spider-Man number 26. And they're saying that it is going to be the most shocking event in Spider-Man in the past 50 years.
Uncle Ben's coming back.
Who knows?
I never got shot. I was just laying there. I needed a nap.
It was the chameleon this whole time.
Yeah.
He was
Since
just
the very
the
beginning.
whole time he was in on it to make you the greatest hero.
That
We'll
would
see.
be amazing.
Amazing Spider-Man. But I think my guess for that one, I think Mary Jane is going to die.
That'd be too. I don't think anyone would care at that point. It's not like a shocking one, like an Alfred dying in Batman. That one's
You
more of
wouldn't be surprised if Mary Jane died?
no, because it's starting to get to the point where I just can't stand her. So it's like goodbye. Like you killed off Gwen. She's been the love interest for ever now, and she just can't commit. So move along.
And who were you saying before? You were saying you think somebody else? Seeing any other characters?
Oh, I thought so. There's a big. This is what I think. So don't quote me. Don't at me. I don't care. But Spider Boy just premiered in Spider-Man issue 7, I believe it is. I would laugh if it was like this is the biggest thing that happens in 50 years, and it's just like another Spider-Man character dies, and it's Spider Boy after being only alive for 1 issue.
They just brought him there to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. They just brought him in and been like, and he's dead.
So you can spend all your money on his first appearance and then his death too.
Yeah, and then you get both best of both worlds in 2 separate issues.
There you go. Any other news got you really excited for this week?
I think the news that has me the most excited was the Flash final trailer. Um, I thought that I mean, it did show a lot of what we've already seen with Zod, Kara, all of them, but it's just to me, it's the fanfare in this one where it's like, "You wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts." And, like, seeing, you know, the best parts of the trailers that they've had so far put into it, I feel like it as much as I don't like Ezra Miller, and I've gone on record in saying that I think he shouldn't be the Flash anymore after all the stuff he's done, I think this is gonna be the biggest DC movie pretty much of all time because it's from what James Gunn has said already, it's basically just gonna re-kickstart into the DCU. And if they're gonna keep Miller or not, that's up to them. I'd probably be as much as people like to say, "I'm gonna boycott the movie," I'm still gonna pay to go see it. Like, it's DC. I'm a DC fanboy. I'm gonna go. You're gonna get my money regardless, no matter how much I hate the actor or what. Jared Leto could be in it, and I would wait till it comes out on streaming services just to watch it, you know? That's how they get my money. Not I'm not gonna go to the theater for it. But I think that is what the pinnacle of the week is. Um, One thing, a bit of news that I did just remember that did come out this week is the slate for Craven the Hunter, the teaser trailer.
Oh,
They
okay.
already announced that Rhino is going to be the very first villain in the Craven the Hunter series.
Oh,
And
cool.
they're promising a comic accurate Rhino, not Paul Giamatti in the robot Rhino suit.
Okay, yeah,
So
yes, yeah, they need to make up for that, yeah.
yeah, from what I've read and understood is near the end, he basically says, "You wanna know why they call me the Rhino?" And he transforms into the Rhino himself. But it is gonna be the very first Sony Marvel R-rated movie to come out with nothing but blood and gore, from what my understanding was from reading everything. So, as much as I didn't wanna see a Kraven the Hunter solo movie, I'm kind of excited for a Kraven the Hunter solo movie.
Yeah, it could be good, yeah. And too, I like the Rhino a lot, so to see Rhino actually be a
Be
bit
Rhino.
closer to comic accurate, yeah, to be Rhino, that's yeah, you're getting me excited for that one. But real quick, yeah, before we got into any other news, since we were talking about the Flash, did you catch when the Flash said nobody dies? They made sure to show that, and I was like, that's just like our issue that we reviewed about,
Mhm.
you know, like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
When we reviewed the Flash, nobody dies. So I did like hearing that little part in there.
Yeah, it's always good to hear the tidbits. And so one of the things, like, and I'm going a little bit off tangent here, but it makes sense for what we're talking about, is when you start getting into a comic accurate, like they're pulling pieces from the actual comics themselves. Like if you look at Thor Love and Thunder, for instance, not the greatest movie people perceived as, I still enjoyed it,
Yeah,
but
me too.
there were so many uh scenes that were pulled strictly from the comics from that movie that it made it more enjoyable for a comic book fan rather than an MCU fan,
Yeah,
and to see those implemented in there, kind of like what they're doing with the Flash now. See how I turned it back right into it? Uh, Kind of like what they're doing with the Flash now is they're bringing these comic book actual scenes to life now instead of it being like a loose parallel or a perception of it or a close recollection of it. It's actually the scene.
yeah, and that's
Like
awesome.
you literally pulled the panel and was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So I think somewhere in there, remember I said in some kind of Flash movie, they're going to use that save from the Nobody Dies comic.
Yeah, I want to see him fall out of an airplane and be like, if I just kick my feet a little bit harder, I can
Ah,
fly.
yeah, yeah, I'm getting a sore.
I'm cramping. I'm like the
Yeah,
whole issue you were cramping. Um, Wait, other than that, the Marvels teaser trailer that was released, I gotta say, like MCU's just not hitting it with me anymore. Like as much as I'm still a MCU fan because they always come out with movies, it's getting to the point where it's just like kind of ain't no based on some of the movies that they have, and it's literally the same formula. Like interject character here, they're doing this.
a little bit of
Make
comedy here.
yeah,
Yeah,
make a one liner, and then we end. Like it's getting to that point. pretty much ready for the very first like 2 phases finally to go out, which would be Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, and Thor. I don't even know who else is left from the beginning because Iron Man's dead. Black Widow's gone. Yeah, so basically the very first 2 phases. After that, I think I'm pretty much done, and I'll just wait for them to come to Disney Plus and watch them there.
Yeah. And so maybe you want more just something a bit different, like you said, not the same stuff all the time.
Yeah, yeah. It's really to the extent of it's copy and paste at this point, and it's the only thing that has not been like that was probably Moon Knight, because most people did not know what they were getting into with it, and that was probably the only one I can think of that solidified that aspect. Everything else, you basically know what's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, because it works. I mean, I admit, like I like the Guardians of the Galaxy and their style and everything, and
Mhm.
but like you said, sometimes it would be nice if we saw something a little different. Like, oh, this movie's quite a bit darker than the others, and like you said, so we don't just exactly know completely. Sometimes I like to okay, here's how it's going to be and enjoy it, but sometimes surprises would be pretty nice too. Like I
Right.
did like the Werewolf by Night. I thought that was a bit different. I know it
That
wasn't a
was.
movie, but that was a good
That was a
mix up.
very good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's good change in pace.
Yeah, and that's what they need is a different change in pace, and they just I get it. You have a formula that worked so well for like 10 years up until Endgame. You can't replicate that again.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do. Especially with the Fantastic Four coming in, Galactus, the Herald, whatever they want to do with that, just do it and put a twist on it. Make it its own now. It's its own different phase, realistically. Like you had it kick off with Iron Man, have this kick off with somebody else and start it differently.
Yeah. I get it.
But you know one thing I am tired of other than that, Sonny?
Not the Penguin, right?
No, that's all you. I'm tired of hearing about this 10-year plan.
Oh yeah.
James Gunn and Safran are detailing that 10-year plan throughout basically this week. So I'm pretty sure today is the 26th and it goes you said the con goes to the 27th. I'm pretty sure the 27th they're going to announce it because that's going to be the big showing at the end, the big bang, the climax, whatever you want to call it. I'm just kind of at the point where I'm done hearing about it. It's like just tell us what it is or don't. Like, we've got the slates for the first couple movies, and I was very excited for it, but every week I feel like James Gunn is tweeting out something about, "Can't wait for this new 10-year plan. Can't wait for this new 10-year plan." All I can think of is Big Daddy, where they're like, "Yeah, I got a 5-year plan. They're working at Hooters." Like,
Yeah.
that's all that goes through my mind now when I see that because it's the same thing over and over. It's like you're shoving this down people's throats. I get it. You're running it. You've done a great job with Guardians. You've done a great job with Peacekeeper. You re-solidified the Suicide Squad. You've already busted out some big movies from Superman Legacy to Batman and Robin to so much more. Instead of giving us a 10-year plan, just stick with what we got. Elaborate on what you guys are working on right now, and start there. Give me the 5-year. I don't care about 10. I'm gonna be 42 with this 10-year plan. I don't care about that. I want to know what's going on by next year, the following year. I want something to look forward to moving forward instead of having to wait for the future.
Yeah, and we know things will change. They could say, "Oh, in 10 years, this, and year 2030." We know by the time it gets to that year, things are gonna change.
Who
Yeah,
knows? They might slump out after the Superman movie. You don't.
yeah,
We just don't know what's going to happen with Warner Brothers and James Gunn at that point. It could be a hit. It could be a complete miss. To say you're going to solidify a 10-year plan, that's great to have that expectation, but for reality purposes, I'd focus on at least the next 2 to 5 years, and that's what they've already done. That's where you need to stick to. I'm tired of just hearing about this 10-year plan and seeing photos of, like, Kingdom Come or,
yeah.
uh,
Swamp Thing not so long ago.
Swamp
Yeah,
Thing or anything else, and it's like, "Guys, come on, pump the brakes a little bit here. Give us something to look forward to right now as comic fans."
yeah. Yeah, maybe they're trying to give Todd McFarlane a run for his money with all his announcements of we
Yeah.
picked out the makeup artist for Spawn.
He's got the
It's
color
out of 3
scheme for
people
Spawn's
left.
suit.
Yeah.
Like, we all know what it is. But the last thing I gotta say is I am excited. Blue Beetle is getting its own ongoing series again. The last time that he had a true ongoing, was with the New 52. And they tried it with Rebirth, and then they saw sales not doing well, so they kind of formed him and Dr. Fate together, and then it got canceled. So I'm hoping this isn't the same thing for it. But with the movie coming out, of course they're going to be doing a new series.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very, very excited for that. Anything here, Sonny, that you?
Just quickly for the Penguin teaser. I don't know if you saw. There's a video. Obviously, we saw the teaser. We both
Mhm.
watched that. But there was a video. Somebody on YouTube put the teaser trailer, but they put the Sopranos theme song for it,
Yes,
and
I
it
did see
works
that.
perfectly with it. Even when the song says like "Got yourself a gun," it's when he pulls out his gun and is shooting. So I thought it was pretty funny. And then for DC, some bad news, Jamie. You've jinxed them.
Yeah.
When you said a while ago, you said Black Adam, and then you said it, and then it obviously Black Adam didn't do good. And I was like, let's see if Jamie says it for the Flash, and you've said it.
Yeah. Well,
So
we
let's
did
hope.
at that time we didn't know what was exactly going on with Black Adam. As soon as the news broke that Henry Cavill wasn't coming back as Superman, no one wanted to see the movie.
Yeah, there was.
They
It's
spoiled it, and then no one wanted to go see it after the fact. So no, I did not jinx it. James Gunn kicked out Henry Cavill, and everyone lost their ever loving minds
yeah,
because they wanted that fight between The Rock, Black Adam, and Henry Cavill as Superman.
yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll get to see
Tom
Ezra
Cruise
Miller.
said the Flash movie was the best thing you ever seen in cinematic history. So guys, go see it. Scientology wins. Let's go.
Martin Scorsese loves it.
Yes, that's all that matters.
He thinks it's a Marvel movie, but he thinks it's the best movie ever.
Yeah, you can't. I hate those 3-hour movies. I'm gonna do one.
Yeah. But joking aside, I do hope it's a good movie, and I'm excited. I did. The preview looks great.
Yes, it does.
I think that wraps up this comic news for the week, at least for my part.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so we got a lot of things going on, a lot of good things, but it's time we go on to quite a dishonorable list, and that is the F list.
Yes. And who is on the F list for this week, Sonny?
Today, the man who joins the F list is Ace Spencer. There he is. No, that's not Prince the singer. That is Ace Spencer. And don't forget, there's a little more. We can see him. Yeah, there he is in his motorcycle. Look at that. He wrote Ace 2 over Spider-Man's poster on the wall. And then there he is again on his motorcycle. That's his first appearance. Yeah, his first appearance was Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 5, made in 1985. And there we go. Him and his gang, the Reapers, they got in the better of Spider-Man. And there's a more updated version of Ace, yeah, still on a motorcycle, like he's Prince in Purple Rain. But yeah, that picture he doesn't have purple on; he's got white. But yeah, we know what he's like.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Jamie, any guess as to the history behind this man who kind of resembles Prince or possibly Michael Jackson?
That's exactly where I was going with this, Sonny. Great minds think alike. So Ace Spencer was originally trying to make it as a dancer singer, just like his heroes Prince and Michael Jackson, only to succumb to a major face injury where he needed reconstructive surgery in order to fix it. And while being performed on, they accidentally put an experimental solution in his face to give him super cool powers where he can ride a motorcycle and do all these other things and learn all these abilities, but also have the ability to dance and sing better than both of his heroes combined. And with
Ooh,
that, yeah, he his way all the way over to Spider-Man to show him his cool new dance moves, and Spider-Man's like, I can't deal with you. And from that point on became a villain of Spider-Man's.
There you go. And there you go. He eat his way to Spider-Man. This pretty much the best line we'll have in this whole episode, I think.
he his way to Spider-Man. That he did.
Well, Ace Spencer is actually a mutant and he has a gang. But first, this is from, I'll be reading a little bit from Marvel.fandom. Yeah, Ace Spencer grew up in poverty in the slums of New York, but his mother was forced to be bedridden while Ace was a teenager, so he takes care of his brother and sister, and he joined a gang called the Reapers, and he eventually became the leader of this gang. But he found out he was a mutant. And would you like to know his powers? They're pretty typical: superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman reflexes, and a danger sense. Pretty much like Spider Man's spider sense. So Ace and Spider Man actually cancel each other's senses out when it comes to that. So
So
he's
it's kind
going
of like
to
a Venom aspect
kind of,
where
yep. Yeah, because, since he has it too, they cancel each other out. And after Ace found out that he was a mutant, he decided to leave the gang. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. He doesn't have much more to him. You know, Ace is his abilities say he's a skilled street fighter. I mean, he doesn't look like it, but hey, who knows? Sometimes
well, if
appearances
there's
can be
Beat It
deceiving.
playing in the background, I'm pretty sure anyone would want to fight.
Yeah, he might. He kind of does look like he might be a smooth criminal. So
Ooh.
he might be dancing around as you're going to punch him. He's doing this and that.
I'm pretty sure any fight he's had or is going to have is going to be a thriller.
Oh yeah, I agree. You are not alone in that one. But it was artist Mark Bright designed the character and said that he made him based on his appearance. Now I think it's more based on, like I said, Prince or Michael Jackson, but Mark Bright has actually done some pretty good work. He has actually worked on Green Lantern before a little bit, but
Mhm.
he's most known for his work in Iron Man's The Armor Wars.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
then, there's the character how he made of Ace Spencer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I've
as
spent
you can see, he's been in some Spider-Man comics. Obviously, he's not going to be much of a match for Spider-Man.
no,
But
but A. Spencer makes the F list this week.
yes, he does. Jamie, do you think he can make it out of the F list?
If we were still in the 80s, yes.
And
As
now,
for today, I feel like he's just a nostalgia piece that could come back for like a panel, kind of like the Eraser did in the Harley Quinn 30th anniversary special. Even though it was kind of a different character, but
they still took on the mantle of
yeah.
the Eraser. Yeah, like whereas Ace has to be Ace, nobody else is gonna be like,
What if he came back and he
I'm the
was
new
Deuce
Ace.
Spencer?
I'm Deuce Spencer. Yeah,
I'm his brother.
yeah, Ace. I'm King Spencer. I'm Queen Spencer. Yeah,
I'm
but
Thrice Spencer.
yeah. Well, Ace Spencer for me, I think Ace can do it. Well, I don't know, but I think because he's not so bad. I mean, obviously, like we said, we look at him, we say, okay, it's like Prince, Michael Jackson, but a little bit of change up in his appearance. I mean, his story is kind of, okay, he grew up in gangs because his mother was sick. A little bit of tweaking, I think Ace can make it out of there, especially if there is something like if the Hypno Hustler has a show, maybe Ace would be good for it. They're both Spider-Man villains. They're both not too known. Maybe Ace could be put into that and somehow with a little bit of different, could be made a little different. Could be riding his motorcycle. I was going to say his band, but actually, no, that was your story that said he had a band.
Yeah. You're gonna say his band and be like, Jamie's story is so much better.
But yeah, so just he's a motorcycle kid. I think Ace Spencer can make it out of the F list.
Awesome. But you know what I'm thinking, Sonny? And I want to throw this out there as an idea right now. Is that at some point we should take a list of all the F listers we've done and create our own F list teams
I think it'd be awesome.
and try to give everybody an idea of how we would make them work in either a Marvel or DC situation to bring them back.
That'd be awesome. Maybe there'd be a codex special.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Just think about it. It'd be like, well, we've got Sonny's team here, his roster, Jamie's team, and Tim's team of
Yeah,
F listers.
we already know Tim. We
He's got
hope
young
you're able
bloods.
to
He
come
doesn't need
back. We
another
know you
team.
got young blood. Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth. We
Yeah.
know Tim has basically got Youngblood down.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, yes, please, and thank you.
Youngblood, Prophet, anybody, from the whole series.
Yeah, I feel like Youngblood comes up at least once a week for me now, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It's Youngblood has become a part of our life thanks to our co-host
Oh,
Tim.
fun fact, real fast. I was down in Illinois and I was at Half Price Books and I bought a bunch of full series. And one of the story arcs that was in the bin was Youngbloods, and I picked it up and I put it in a different bin.
You wanted it that far away from you. You're like, get this thing just
Yeah,
out of my sight.
I don't need Rob Liefeld in my life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that is that. That is the F list, and I do agree that would be an awesome Codex special if we do everybody from the F list to be on team. So we will see.
Awesome. But I think that concludes our F list. So, Sonny, I got a question for you, brother. Do you know?
Wait, do I know where you're what?
You can get discounted comics at a discounted price with us from Heroes Corner Comics. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out heroscornercomics.com. Go check out their site and use the keyword codex, that's CODEX, at checkout and save yourself 20% on all of your purchases. They also have a Code X bundle where that code does still apply. It's $30 bundle. You get 3 Corner Comic exclusives. We've already had a video unboxing done from them, from Tim himself. He got great comics from the corner itself. It's great. Everything they send is packaged very well, done very, very well, I might add. Sale has a bunch of videos of their packaging. I've done one of their mystery boxes as well, but I can't say enough good things about them. And they're reachable. So if you go to their Facebook page, which is Heroes Corner Comics Insider, you can reach out to them. Let them know what you want, what you're looking for. They are more than helpful when it comes to that.
Yeah, a large library of comics you can choose from to get from there. Like I said, new comics, old comics, exclusives.
Yeah,
so check it out.
Yeah, new comics, old comics, exclusives. You can set up pull list with them. They got graded slab comics. Everything you can think of, you can get at as they say, the corner.
Yeah, and on their site, I really like how when it says something is killing my wallet.
Yeah, so yeah,
if you want the expensive stuff, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's me and Sale half the time.
I was just saying, like we know Sale's on that. If it's
Sale
he's
gets
on that.
He gets boxes that weigh 30 pounds from them, and I'm like, how? I'm like, I can barely keep up with the reading I have right this second.
Yeah, you're not exaggerating. I've seen those videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him that next time we do an After Dark. I'm like, Sale, when do you find time to read all of these, or do you just have them just to be like, I have? Like, Sale's not even a real comic fan; he just likes the covers. I feel like it's hilarious.
One of these days, Sal, we're gonna find out what you do.
Yeah. Well, I know what he does for a living. We'll have that discussion after the show. But
I think he's an executive. I think he's an executive at Marvel.
You would think, but no, you're wrong.
We got a comment. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not. I'm sorry. I'm getting. Oh, Youngblood should be relaunched. Tone, brother, how we doing? Yes, and we should, because it just bleeds out cries for help.
Yeah.
So
and cries for bigger feet.
Every issue, someone died by bleeding out. That'd be amazing. I know exactly who we would start out. But Sonny, do you know? Yeah, we're getting into Do You Know? And I think this week you're starting out.
Yes, it is. Okay. So today we are reviewing a horror themed comic book. So I said, okay, let me find a question about some horror themed comics. So my question for you, Jamie, do you know what was the name of the Captain America horror themed comic book in the 1940s?
Oh, in 1940? Ooh. Horror themed comic, huh? I didn't even know he had one. So this is going to be fun. Captain America and the fight against the zombie Nazis.
Well, you're not too far off. But the answer is Captain America's Weird Tales. So in the
Ooh, okay.
1940s, there was a Captain America series, but for issue number 74, they changed the name to Captain America's Weird Tales, and that was where the Jeff Mace Captain America fought a Red Skull in hell. It's never been said who exactly that Red Skull is. Just a Red Skull in hell who steals a book from Satan, and yeah, Captain America, Jeff Mace battles him in hell. And it was a horror themed comic. And then issue 75 was also called Captain America's Weird Tales, but there was no Captain America in it. It was just horror themed. And then it went on to going back to being Captain America.
Of course it did, because why not?
Yeah. So there was Captain America's Weird Tales. And that issue was in 1949.
Awesome. All right, Sonny. So you have your horror themed aspect. Mine is still sticking to Night of the Ghoul, that we'll be covering, but I'm gonna go with, because it came from Comixology. Sonny, do you know what year did Comixology start their company?
1996.
You are 11 years off, my friend. Comixology started in July of 2007.
2007. Okay.
So for all my questions for today, it's going to be launch dates for certain digital companies.
All right. Did you hear that? My ceiling.
Yeah, you're.
I want those answers, mate. Infinite answers. Get it ready.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
no. Every time I see you do this, like, I knew you weren't going to get it right because you were like, But every time you go like this, I'm like, oh no, he's got it.
Okay. Now, since we were talking in our comic book news, we mentioned X-Men Days of Future Past.
Mhm.
So my question for you, Jamie, do you know what year do the future, excuse me, let me start that in. All right, now, Jamie, do you know what year do the future events of the original Days of Future Past take place?
Why do I feel like it's 2021? I'm going to go with 2021.
2021? The answer is 2013.
Oh, is it?
2013. Yep. So in the original Days of Future Past, in the year 2013 was when the future events take place.
I might be thinking of the Days of Future Past movie. That's what I just
Maybe.
went to.
So yeah, the movie obviously came out. I believe it was 2013. So they had to
Mhm.
change certain years. Even in the X
Yes.
Men the animated series, they had to change the years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So there's been a multitude, but for the comic, yeah, that does sound right to me.
yeah.
It, like I said, the 2021 thing, I felt like it was that one. I think because I can remember it specifically, but we'll get off that. All right, Sonny.
No.
So we just talked about Comixology, and these are things that Scott Snyder has all worked for as well too. So we always talk about our favorite comic or digital comic place for, like, I don't know, I think it was like 12 episodes. But Sonny, do you know what year Substack launched?
2013.
You are 4 years off. 2017.
Okay, we're getting close. We're a couple years off with each one, but
Yes.
all right. Goose eggs, as Tim would say. We've got goose eggs, Jamie.
I'm very happy with that. As long as I tie with you, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, we won't tell that we get 0 out of 0, but we'll say, oh, it was a good one. It was a
We've
tie.
had so many zeros out of zeros on this show. I just feel like we're learning more than we're actually doing.
But we are learning. We don't, trust me, we ask these questions and then we learn them and we don't forget them because, well, we got the answer wrong in front of the millions of people that will be watching these episodes. So then,
Yeah,
yeah,
till at a later date.
we'll never forget those again. All right, Jamie, we talked earlier about the Penguin teaser trailer. So my question for you goes to the Penguin. Jamie, the Penguin is Oswald Cobblepot, but do you know what is the Penguin's middle name?
I know it. And I'm gonna be wrong here because I do know it, and it's gonna make me really, really mad. Let me use my Sunny technique. I'm gonna go with Norman. I don't know why.
You are incorrect.
I know.
It is not that normal of a name. The penguin's name is Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot.
Oh,
So the penguin's middle name is Chesterfield.
didn't they have that in the second Batman movie?
I believe they did mention. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but
I'm gonna go
just
back
don't
and watch
remember.
it today now, just to see.
There you go. But yeah,
All right. Well, I'm 0 for 0 on this. So we're gonna go with this. Sonny, what year did the DC Universe app originally launch?
2015.
Again, 3 years off. The original app, which was DC Infinite, originally launched September of 2018.
2018. Okay.
Yes, and then back then they had it where it was movies, TV shows, and the library of comics. And then once Warner Brothers came in, all those shows shifted and movies shifted over to HBO Max, which DC Universe app, which was renamed to it, now is just a library of comics, kind of like Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah. So the Swamp Thing show was originally on
Yeah,
there,
Swamp
right?
Thing started there, Doom Patrol started there, Titan started there. I believe Stargirl started there, if I'm not mistaken, before they jumped. And then it was on the CW. And then they had a bunch of other shows too as well that were on there. But a lot of stuff I liked were like they had like almost like what we do with one shots. Like they had creators come on and basically talk about how they got started and stuff. So I always enjoyed that.
That's
They
cool.
kind of stopped that, but I do miss it. They need to bring it back because I used to love reading my comics on my 55-inch TV, and now I can't do that anymore.
Nice. And yeah, if DC wants, any of us from the Codex Station would be more than happy to do those one shots.
Oh, of course.
We're sure they're probably all
Warner
watching.
Brothers, DC, hit us up. You know where we're at.
Yeah. You have one of your former workers, or maybe current worker, Sal, who is with the Codex Station. So
Yeah,
you
sales
can get
work
us
for
in.
pretty much everybody. So if Warner Brothers sales got the hookup, come on, bud, let's do this.
Yeah, that's good. Let's change the subject, and we won't talk about how bad we didn't do. Okay, it was
Wait, we played
good.
Do You Know today?
Okay, time for a review.
Oh,
All right, let me get that water in there, and then I'm ready to get this review going.
let's go.
Okay, and as usual, I am Sunny. I'm joined by Jamie, and we are from the Codex Station, and we are reviewing Night of the Ghoul. And as usual, well, actually, today's a little different. Today,
Yeah.
Jamie has the credits.
Yeah, so we're starting off with writer Scott Snyder. We have artist, colorist, cover artist, variant cover artist Francesco Francavilla. Letters go to And World Design, and editors are Will Dennis and Daniel Chaban.
Okay, and I will give us a little run through of part of the story, not the whole thing, but some of it to get everybody knowing of the story that we are reviewing. So we start Night of the Ghoul, this horror themed comic book, which is 6 issues, and we start off with a man named Forrest Inman is with his son Orson, and Forrest is someone who works in film, and they go to a nursing home to meet an elderly man who was using a fake name, but Forrest lets him know, I know who you really are. You are T.F. Merritt, the filmmaker, and you made one of the greatest films ever but it was not ever published. It wasn't out there. It should be like Frankenstein, Dracula. It should be a horror classic. It is Night of the Ghoul, but it was never released. So as he's speaking with TF, and TF, well, when we see TF, he is badly burned. He's badly deformed from a fire that took place in 1946. As the story goes, we switch off between modern day Forrest speaking with TF, and then we go back to the old times where we see it almost looks like footage, and it is from the movie from Night of the Ghoul, and that takes place in 1917 during World War One. And in World War One, we see Kurt, who is the father of someone named Alex, and his friend Johnny, and another man named Bookings, but it's mainly focused on Kurt and Johnny. And now in World War One, they go to a place. They say, "Oh, it's supposed to be a hideout for the Germans," and then They go there and it is not. They see many dead people, and even there's a lady who comes out and she's, again, barely deformed and she dies. But we find out that that is actually where the ghoul was hiding. The ghoul was hiding inside. The ghoul hides inside of people, and then it gets a new host. And what happened? The ghoul gets a hold of Kurt, and it crawls right into his. It crawls right through his mouth and gets inside of him. We move on to the next issue, and now we see the war heroes. We see Kurt and Johnny return from World War II. Excuse me, from World War One, and Kurt's son Alex notices he's very different. Even before Kurt had told Johnny, when I introduce you to my son, I'll have him call you Uncle Johnny, and
Yes.
Kurt is very different. So Johnny and the boy Alex, they start to get Kurt some help to see what is wrong with him, what's going on. And at this time, we also switch back to what's going on in modern day. And Orson, he likes to get around. Orson doesn't want to just sit still. He takes his mom to see what's going on, but he walks around the nursing home and he has some very close calls. He's standing there. Suddenly, everybody comes out to look, all the patients. Then he looks behind him. They're gone. He goes to the basement. We kind of see something almost like crawling up on him, waiting for him down in the basement. But he continues on. And T.F. Merritt at this time tells Forrest that he is actually being kept there. That the people, Dr. Skeen is the man in charge of the place. That Dr. Skeen, they're keeping him here. So they're beating. He says that they're bad. They're doing terrible things to him, and that he needs to get out. And he says that Skeen is the one who is actually holding the ghoul. That today is the day the ghoul is going to get out. And then Skeen happens to come right behind Forrest, and Skeen kicks them out. He says, "Get out!" And the security brings Orson, Forrest's son, too, and they say, "You guys got to get out. We're going to call the police. So we'll give you one more chance just to leave." And at this time, we also go back again to the film. And in the film, Johnny and Alex, they meet a professor, and that is Professor Holloway, and she gives more of a history on the ghoul. She tells about the Order of the Fly, and those are the followers of the ghoul. They help the ghoul out, they protect the ghoul, and then there is the Legion of the Scarab, and those are those who are against the ghoul. And now we also go back to the modern day. We said the story switches off modern day and back to the film of Night of the Ghoul. And in present day, Forrest and Orson are leaving, and they have a chat in the car. And Forrest is saying, I'm sick of you. Like, don't talk to me like that. And Orson says, that he's mad because their mother has Parkinson's disease, and and that the dad's not around. And Forrest tells he wants to do something for his son. He feels like, oh, I don't do much. I just work in digitalizing film. I brought you along, and I'm working on this, to get Night of the Ghoul because this is something so big. I want you to be proud of me. And eventually they decide to go back. And he says, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get T.F. Mirror. We're going to find what T.F. was telling him about. And early in the story, T.F. Mirror tells that Forrest knew, and him and T.F. talk about it, that the film wasn't finished, but there is a finished version of it out. There is the final reel, but T.F. knows where it is. So Forrest goes back to get T.F. And as he does that, he has to hide because T.F. says it's too late. Skeen is already here. And then Forrest hides, and he sees that Skeen has his bodyguard, the security guard, beat T.F. pretty brutally. They're breaking his bones. And at this time, Orson also decides to get out of the car to do a little, he's going around, but then he falls down into a ditch like a typical, horror movie. He falls, he can't get
If
up.
someone's not tripping over themselves, it's not a real horror movie.
Yeah, and there's a little spot, maybe, how many feet wide. There's a little hole, and he decides to do the smart thing, and he's I'm gonna go down into this hole and crawl through it, and what he finds is pretty disturbing. Some pretty freaky looking characters. Yeah, and at this time also, when we go back to the Night of the Ghoul film, Professor Holloway tells Johnny and everybody how they can kill the ghoul. So Johnny gathers up a lot of the old platoon of him and Kurt, and then they say, okay, we're going to kill the Ghoul, and then they make their attempt, and it is quite an attempt when the Ghoul comes out of Kurt to go with them. But that is where I will stop my run through of the story. We're a little bit past the halfway point, but I definitely suggest checking out Night of the Ghoul if you want to see and read what else happens. For me, Night of the Ghoul, as someone who doesn't really read much horror themed comics, it was really interesting for me to read this. And I got through it very fast. I got through it within a couple of days. It isn't long to get through. It is entertaining from beginning to end. The story picks up fast. You know what's going on. It doesn't take long to get to the action, and yeah, it keeps you on the edge until literally the very end of the story. I think it is a great story written wise. The artwork, for me, I was very up and down about. Sometimes I was like, you know what, I could see it. I would kind of like for it to be a little more detailed, but then at certain panels, sometimes there'd be a page and it would just one panel throughout the whole page, and I really liked that when it would remind me something like of a old Frankenstein or Dracula film poster from the 1930s or 40s. And those I
Mhm.
really liked. So the artwork, I was very, like I said, sometimes up about it. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes I go, I want more. But sometimes I was like, you know what, it's perfect for this when I see certain images. And yeah, the story for me was top notch. I think it is a great story. I definitely recommend Night of the Ghoul. And I give Night of the Ghoul a 9.2 out of 10.
Ooh, okay. That is still a great grade on that aspect. Real fast, I'm gonna get into Tim's quick review of it. He said that it was what he wants exactly out of a horror book. That it's a great take on it, and that it is, in his words, awesome. I don't want to say the other word that was in front of awesome, but we're gonna go with awesome.
That's a rhyme with
But
trucking.
yes,
There you go.
okay. But with his grade, it was a 10 out of 10 out of this one. But for my review of it, Sonny, you basically covered almost all of it. This is the first time I'm not gonna give away an ending story because you need to read this whole thing. One of my favorite aspects of this book was the jump between modern day and back in when the movie was being filmed. I like that connection there. I thought it brought more detail to the story throughout the story itself. Um, One of the things, and it wasn't the full film that he had, it was the ending because the original film was burned halfway through, and Forrest was trying to get the rest of the film so he could digitize it and remaster it into a full featured length film. So he did have Merritt did have the ending secured away. Uh, just having the Order of the Flies and the Scarab, those two aspects of uh good versus bad, to me, really enticed this a lot. You don't really pick up on these until I think it was like issue 3 in the digital aspect. So for those that don't know, digitally it's 6 issues. If you buy them physical, which they are out now, it's 3 issues, all compact. So, but for the digital version, I think it was issue 3 that they started talking about them. Um, the aspect between those two kind of reminds me of like a Court of Owls for Batman or anything else. Like you don't know they're there, but they're really there in the shadows. Just the interaction of Merritt and Forrest the entire time, like Forrest being an extreme fan of this and wanting to know and doing all this research and going into it, and Merritt's just like, I can't give this to you. They're gonna kill me if anything happens. The whole book to me from issue 1 to issue 6 kept me at the edge of my seat. This is the first time I've read a lot of obviously issues. Trust me, we have to for the shows. But this is the first time I skipped everything and read all 6 issues in one sitting. I could not put the book down. I don't think I slept that night, which I don't do many nights, but that night I remember just sitting there and going issue after issue. I was like, I need to know what happens. So with that, I thought the writing was spectacular. Snyder hit this home run farther than I've ever seen him hit. Even with his Batman run. And that's saying a lot. Sunny, the artwork I gotta differ with you. I did like the difference in tones with colors and how they portrayed that color effect with the panels and what they were trying to do story wise. And then jumping back to the black and white version of the film, then coming back to what we've seen, it really it didn't leave a dull moment for me visually. So with that, I got to give Night of the Ghoul a 10 out of 10. I think this is the best thing I've read so far this
Oh,
year.
nice. Night of the Ghoul, 10 out of 10 for Jamie, 10 out of 10 for Tim, 9.2 out of 10 for me. Yeah, it is. So obviously, we all really like it, and Night of the Ghoul is a great one. So we do recommend that everybody checks it out. Yeah, especially if you want some good horror. Yeah, this is it. Me, I think if it was to be made into a movie, I would hope that it could be done right. Because I was thinking, like, oh, I could see this being made into a movie, but I almost feel like it shouldn't be touched. I do really like it as a comic book.
Yeah, and usually with Snyder, his properties get picked up and greenlit right away. It takes a while for them to come out, obviously, but this is one I hope it just stays in comic form. Like, because I think it just hits in an essence so much more in the comic world of horror than it would transfer to the movies or a TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah. The greatest story, and I did like, speaking of the artwork, like I said, I was kind of up and down, but I did like how the ghoul looked. I thought it was very creepy looking, and yes,
It
the
was
horror
creepy, but
was very
it
good.
was very, very simple.
Yeah, I think yeah. Sometimes it doesn't take all this and that to make a great character. So I do
Yeah,
hope.
there wasn't much detail to the ghoul, and it still looked like creepy.
And I think it was almost better that way of how it wasn't so detailed for that character. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
I
guess
do
maybe for
agree.
me, maybe with more with the regular people, I'd say.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it's a great story all around. I definitely recommend it, and I would read it again. And like you said, you get through it, you just start next issue, next issue, next issue. It's an addictive read.
Yes, it is, and like you said, the pacing on it was very good, so it didn't feel like you were there the whole time trying to read it for, like, an hour. It was like, "Okay, I just finished this, where do I go? Like, what's the next issue?"
Yeah. So there we go. There is Night of the Ghoul. Something all of us from the Code X station recommend.
Yes, and Sunny in the chat always wants to be a ghoul, so I figured this would be a perfect pick for him.
I was like, hey, ghoul, can I be a ghoul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
This
with
ghoul,
that
you know what? The ghoul in this was a lot more creepy than usual. You know, ghouls, I think of them as nice and cuddly, but this ghoul was not very nice.
mm, I don't know what ghoul you're thinking of, but we'll go with that, Sunny. But with wrapping that up, Tim did give me his pick for his next read, and that is Brian Michael Bendis' Secret Wars. So we will be covering Secret Wars probably within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah. Do you know how many issues are just off the top of your
I
head
think
or
it's
no?
8 or 12, one of those two.
Okay.
So we'll
Even though
get
we
through it.
even though we usually do 8 issues, we'll get through Secret Wars. I have not
It
read it,
doesn't
so
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, neither have I.
Yes, I'll be looking forward to bumping Secret Wars up my list, and we'll review it. Like I said, next week will probably be a one shot, something like that, and then the following week most likely will be Secret Wars.
Yes, definitely. But Sonny, you want to take it out for us, and I'll finish it off.
Sure, I'll let you finish it off. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into another episode of the Codex Podcast. I'm Sonny Kruger, and take care. I'll let Jamie finish this thing up.
Yeah, guys. Again, you know what I'm about to say, guys. Go check out the codexstation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Codex. Get some merch, meet the team, let us know what you like, don't like, and much, much more. Also, our socials are listed all the way at the bottom. So you don't miss out on any of the content that we're putting out for you, because there is a lot, especially with the podcast and other shows alike. But on a serious note, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you never know what anyone's going through out there. You don't ever know what battle they're fighting. Even if they're smiling, there's always something going on in the background that you might not never know of. So always be kind, because even making someone smile could change the course of their day or life. So like I said, always be kind. And we will see you in the next one.